A big future story for the women's world title was just confirmed, so we'll see what's that about. We'll also check out what's going on with the Vision, Bayley, and more. Starting things off with the latest news for Stephanie. There's no denying that not only is Stephanie the breakout star of 2025, but she probably had one of the best first year that a superstar ever had. In 2025 alone, Stephanie won the North American title, the NXT Women's title, the Women's World title, and now she adds the Women's Crown Jewel Championship to that list. Stephanie and Tiffany recently met at Crown Jewel in a champion versus champion match, and a lot of fans were curious to see who won this match, because it was a battle of two world champions that are at the top of their game right now. Well, the outcome ended up being Stephanie defeating Tiffany Stratton, which that itself is a pretty big accomplishment considering the fact that Tiffany was undefeated for the entire year, heading into that Crown Jewel matchup. So Stephanie becomes the first woman to pin and defeat Tiffany Stratton in 2025, and she did it with the Crown Jewel title on the line. So Stephanie got all the momentum in the world right now, and it doesn't look like anyone is stopping her anytime soon. But it does look like Triple H and Stephanie herself have some major things in mind. During the Crown Jewel post-show, Triple H mentioned how he personally can't wait to see Stephanie and Rhea Ripley cross paths, and how special of a moment that will be. And it just so happens that Triple H is the man with the pen. So if that's something he wants to see and envisions great things for it, he's the one that can bring it to life and make it happen. So Triple H expressing his interest and excitement there for Stephanie versus Rhea basically felt like some early confirmation that he will make that feud happen sometime in the near future. There's been a lot of buzz going on lately about Stephanie versus Rhea, both amongst the fans and across many reports. And now you even have the Chief Content Officer Triple H teasing it as well, so a lot of fans feel like that program is most definitely coming up here sometime in the near future. There's no time frame on when that feud between Rhea and Stephanie will happen, but fans still think it's a WrestleMania-worthy match and program. And it sure does look like it would have the making of a pretty great story there. You have the reigning defending champion Stephanie in one corner, who's just on a run of a lifetime right now, and in the other corner you would have Rhea Ripley, a multi-time world champion, who hasn't held the gold in a while and always had some obstacle get in her way of regaining the gold. So Rhea would now be laser focused on getting that title back, and Stephanie would of course try to keep her hot streak going and retain the title. And considering that they're two absolute top fan favorites at the moment, it would be a match that draws the attention of a lot of fans for sure. And in several recent interviews, Stephanie repeatedly named Rhea Ripley as one of her biggest dream opponents, and said how much she really wants to wrestle her. So judging by all the clues and seeds that are in place right now, it seems safe to say that Stephanie will be getting that dream match soon. A lot of fans feel like Becky Lynch could also turn out to be a big future opponent for Stephanie. Becky did say in a recent ESPN interview that she does have interest in holding two titles at the same time again, and if Becky wants to do that, she'll have to go through Stephanie in order to carry around two titles. A lot of fans think there could be a story in place of Becky being overcome with so much jealousy and how that could be what makes her target Stephanie. Becky is obsessed with being the best, and she's obsessed with what other people are saying about her. So if all the conversation and buzz is on Stephanie, that'll surely make Becky feel a certain type of way, especially after just seeing Stephanie holding both titles and also standing in the ring with the men's crown jewel champion, Becky's husband Seth Rollins. Maybe Becky feels like that should be her standing up there as the women's world champion and the double champion. So a lot of fans feel like there's some good narrative there for Becky to eventually come after Stephanie as well. So keep an eye on this reign for Stephanie because it could be full of some pretty big potential matchups right there. John Cena's final opponent continues to be a very hot topic amongst the community and even the superstars themselves, as the reports have been all claiming Gunther is allegedly penciled in as John Cena's final opponent. But that doesn't stop people from throwing out their ideas for that matchup. A name that is gaining a bit of buzz in the community for John Cena's final match recently is Seth Rollins. Something everyone keeps mentioning is how John Cena's final opponent should be someone who has some history with him, and Seth Rollins does check that box off. Seth has faced John Cena several times over the years, but hasn't faced Cena in recent memory. Fans feel like Seth may be another pretty solid option to face Cena. Seth is in this spot right now where even as the world champion, he's still trying to prove himself. A lot of people doubted that he can beat Cody Rhodes, but he went out there and it wasn't clean, but he still beat Cody Rhodes, which meant a lot to him. And now the Vision kicks him out the back door and exiles Seth from his own group, maybe because of their own doubt in him. So now Seth is alone, he's broken, maybe doubting himself now, while facing John Cena in his final match and trying to defeat Cena in that match. Sure does seem like the perfect recipe to pick someone up and get them back on track again. So that's why it seems like a nice spot for Seth. And during a recent interview, Damian Priest says if the goal is to make John Cena's retirement match as big as possible, he suggested for The Rock to be that final opponent for John Cena. So a lot of names continue to be thrown around, but we'll see who will get that special privilege in December. Bayley and Lyra's story continued this week and made a few things a bit more clear. Ever since this story started, fans assumed that it'll be a quick turn for Bayley and how it'll instantly break into a Bayley versus Lyra feud. Well, it looks like that assumption was wrong. As the weeks go by, it's looking more like a long-term storyline. Lyra has been spending the whole Australia trip with Bayley, posing several videos and photos together from the trip. But on the October 14th edition of Raw, Lyra set everything straight for Bayley. Lyra explained how she still didn't know if she could trust Bayley, and how they're not always on the same page. Lyra said if things don't go smoothly for them, that their pairing will only be a one-night thing. Bayley laughs everything off and mentions all their good times together as a team, like when they won the gauntlet match earlier this year before WrestleMania. And then in the match, when it seemed like things weren't going their way, Lyra had an idea. Lyra brutally slapped Bayley, which unleashed the crazy aggressive side of Bayley to go after the Judgment Day and win the match. And Lyra celebrated with Bayley right after. This moment was good for the story because it shows that Lyra has been paying attention and has learned how this new side of Bayley works. Lyra noticed that Bayley always got aggressive after a slap over the last few weeks, so Lyra used that method here in order to get Bayley to enter that mode and help them win. And it looks like this moment has officially confirmed that the trigger to Bayley's aggressive mode going forward will primarily be a slap, but it does look like other things could trigger Bayley as well. Since Bayley and Lyra won their match, it looks like they will be staying together as a tag team going forward. WWE absolutely loves the pairing of dysfunctional teams, and it looks like that's what Bayley and Lyra are becoming. They're going to stay as a team, and things could get crazy with Bayley persona changes. But Lyra is going to try to trigger the mode at the right time, stay in control of it, and use it to their advantage. Which could also mean Bayley and Lyra eventually going after Alexa and Charlotte for the tag team gold. So look for Bayley and Lyra to stay as a team, but maybe have some bumps in the road along the way. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.